Russian President Vladimir Putin gave a very frank speech to the world today where he put European leaders on notice, laughing at them for making claims about Russian military intentions.
We have to translate it into diplomatic language. One thing is to say that Russia is not going to attack Europe. It's funny for us. It's laughable because we never wanted to attack Europe. Okay, let's put it in writing.
The Russian leader then went on to put the media and politicians on blast, accusing them of feeding their people lies in order to increase military might.
Some people who are not particularly, shall we say, with us. I don't know. There may be some crooks. They are telling their population that Russia is getting to attack Europe, and we have to strengthen our defense. I'm not sure whether they serve the military industry interests or maybe they try to basically increase their political ratings. It's very difficult to say, but as from this is a lie. This is a total lie. But when everything is being fed to the society and the citizens are scared and they want to hear that we don't have any aggressive plans towards Europe, we're happy to put it in writing.
Online commentators were quick to call out Putin, with this person saying, "Wild how every time Putin says nobody wants conflict, it somehow ends with tanks moving somewhere. But sure, totally believable this time." Putin also presented Ukraine a deal, which is essentially, we will cease all military actions if Ukraine forces are removed from all contested territories.
What I mean, this moment in time, we are getting suggestions of stopping fighting here and there. When Ukrainian troops will leave their positions, that will be the stop to the war. If they're not going to leave their positions, we will fight them.
This person blasted the suggestion, saying, "This isn't a deal. It's a ransom note demanding Ukraine surrender its own land and sovereignty or face more destruction. It's a transparent attempt to codify invasion as conquest. Putin is just trying to use peace as a fancy word for capitulation. Big cap, no one's buying it." Putin's address comes after the US and Ukraine agreed to a refreshed 19-point plan during discussions in Geneva this week. Putin acknowledged the plan and said it could be used as a basis for future arrangements, but nothing is finalized at this point.
Возник тот перечень возможных договоренностей из 28 пунктов. И, как я уже объявлял публично, он нам по определенным каналам был передан. Мы с ним ознакомились. После этого состоялись переговоры в Женеве между американской делегацией и украинской делегацией. И они, я так понял, между собой решили, что все эти 28 пунктов нужно разделить на 4 составляющих отдельных. В целом, да, и нам это все было передано. В целом мы согласны, что это может быть положено в основу будущих договоренностей. Но было бы с моей стороны невежливо сейчас говорить о каких-то окончательных вариантах, но поскольку их нет. Некоторые вещи, они носят принципиальный характер, и в целом мы видим, что американская сторона учитывает в чем-то учитывает нашу позицию, которая обсуждалась до Анкориджа и после Аляски. Где-то нам точно совершенно нужно садиться и серьезно обсуждать какие-то конкретные вещи. Нужно все положить на дипломатический язык, потому что одно дело, в общем, сказать, что Россия не собирается нападать на Европу. Это для нас звучит смешно, правда? Никогда не собирались, но если они хотят услышать от нас, давайте мы это зафиксируем. Вопросов нет.
This commentator read between the lines and said, translation, Russia not ready for any peace and will continue its barbaric aggression in Ukraine. But whilst Putin doesn't seem to be budging much on any peace plan with Ukraine, Secretary of State Marco Rubio claimed the talks held in Geneva this week marked great progress in the war.
We had a very good day today. I think we made a tremendous amount of progress, even from the last time I spoke to you, and I apologize for keeping you waiting, but there was more work to be done. You know, we began almost 3 weeks ago with a foundational document that we socialized and ran by both sides, and with input from both sides. And one of the things that happens when you've been involved in this now for 10 months is you get a pretty good sense of what the priorities and the red lines and the important issues are for both sides. And so that allowed us to create a foundational document, which has been an ongoing working document. In fact, over the last 96 hours or more, there's been extensive engagement with the Ukrainian side, including our Secretary of the Army and others being on the ground in Kyiv, meeting with relevant stakeholders across the Ukrainian political spectrum in the legislative branch and the executive branch and the military and others to further sort of narrow these points. We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take is 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way. Now, obviously, like any final agreement, they'll have to be agreed upon by the presidents, and there are a couple issues that we need to continue to work on. But I think the report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very, it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue. Maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process, I don't want to declare victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain.
Ukraine President Zelenskyy maintained his tough talk against Russia, urging Ukraine allies to continue supporting him in the fight against Russian domination.
Бажаю здоров'я. Коротко про сьогодні. Цей день, як і кожен день зараз, ми використовуємо для консультацій з партнерами. Кожен день обмін інформацією, всіма даними, які потрібні, щоб визначити оптимальні кроки. Російська війна триває, і ми всі чуємо, що Росія плює на намагання ключових світових держав закінчити війну реально, тривалим миром. Але чи буде мир, залежить не від погроз Росії, не від того, які там ультиматуми звучать, а від того, які умови забезпечить світ, щоб не можна було продовжувати цю агресію. І від того, що ми самі будемо робити для захисту своєї держави, своїх людей, своїх українських національних прав. Зараз однаково важливі наш захист позицій, наш спротив на фронті і спільна з партнерами робота заради кращих дипломатичних позицій. І все налаштовано на таку роботу.